You just say?
I said your bike is way easier.
What's up, everybody? I'm here with my bro-in-law. This right here is his 2002 Yamaha TW200 beginner bike. I don't know. I don't know. Stay tuned. We're gonna discuss why we were wrong. All right, so we're back after you checked out that little bit of footage. But so here's the deal. I believe we were wrong, and we had an assumption that this Yamaha TW200 was, I'd say, the perfect beginner bike. Now, I own one now, so I can speak on this subject a little more freely, but I also own this Kawasaki KLX250. And after riding this for a while, I never truly, Mob Street, Mac, he has them, and I rode his kind of on the road a little bit. But where I ride this thing versus where I ride my TW, it's different terrain than, say, like just the road or like a smooth gravel road that I could take my CTSV on. They're just different terrains. But one thing that I looked at and thought while I was driving that was it was a little harder to handle than my Kawasaki. That's where Jake comes in. Let's talk about your experience here. Jake here, he is a fresh, new, couple of years ago, bought some street bikes. He's a fresh, new rider who does not have a lot of experience on dirt. And he's still, I would say, in my mind, I would still consider him a beginner on street.
Yeah,
am I wrong?
No, that's safe to say.
Safe to say, because
yeah.
you had some bikes, but you're
not
like this 15-year-old
no.
on the street riding for 15 years that like have seen it all.
No, I think that's safe to say.
I mean, you went through some stuff, but like I would say a new beginner is probably in the 1 to 4 year range, depending on how much you rode.
Yeah.
You got a bike, you go take it on thousands of miles. 1 year you could get a lot of experience, but that's not the case here.
I think experience comes with time, which I don't have a ton of time.
But like I said, the amount of time spent on the bike, miles per mile.
Miles per gallon.
Yeah. So, let's hear it, man. Like, Jake came to me after riding this KLX250 and basically said a few things that is the reasoning behind making this video, I guess. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say riding this, and then not too long ago, I'd say this fall, Jake hopped on the KLX250 and we took him into some areas. What do you say? Give us your thoughts.
Well, I can specifically remember riding your KLX for a little while, and while we were working on this, I think, I can't remember. Well, this was here for a little while.
This was not here. It was at Mob Streets.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't have it, so I was riding yours.
So you were riding mine, and then when we did get this here, the battery was dead.
Yeah.
So there, that cop, he wanted to ride this, and we were like, dude, let's go ride. You can ride one of my bikes.
Yeah, that's what it was. So I remember I rode your bike, and we went up to the mines.
Yes.
And it was fun. And
video right here.
I was actually pretty comfortable on that bike, which surprised me. And so when I rode
it was terrain that you...
It was terrain that I was slightly familiar with from these bikes, the TWs.
Yeah.
So when I came back and I got back onto this after riding that, it was, I don't know, it just felt
And that
alien.
that was like the next weekend. So
Yeah.
so we're not talking, all summer long. We're talking he rode this bike one weekend and then he hopped back on this the very next weekend.
I think, again, a lot of that has to do with the tire pressure.
Okay.
But I do think when I jumped back on that, and I remember exactly when I realized it when we were climbing up that hill and you were waiting for me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is terrifying.
Okay.
But I think I've gathered that it's a combination of shocks and just, I don't know, how this bike sits. Like,
So better suspension obviously on the KLX.
oh, and the thinner tires on the KLX is somehow easier.
Somehow easier. And that's the thing. We're not like, we don't know. We're trying to figure it out. But basically the gist is, at first we thought this was, the perfect bike because for one, it's got a low seat height.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, I did shave the seat on my KLX 250, but you also rode Chad's bike, the WR250F.
Yes.
And you felt very well even on that bike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say it's I've rode that bike as well, and I felt more comfortable on the WR250F as well. It's more race bike inspired. That's kind of where I'm more comfortable on, more like the race bike versus
You know what,
this
dude?
dual
I think
sport.
I just realized it. I think it's the foot. I think it's where your foot sits.
So just better overall riding stance.
Because of that bike is taller, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So your feet are down lower. You have more of the bike in between your legs
Okay.
to control. On this one, I feel like you're sitting here, right? Seat's like right here.
Okay.
So there's just like your leg distance.
Okay.
With that bike, you have like your upper thigh down, and somehow that's more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's just like there's more confidence in having more of the bike control,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, but basically, I think it's just the overall feel.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like, tires play a factor. The wider tires on this bike, I think, grab more. So on rocky roads, you're definitely, every little pebble, this bigger, wider tire is going to grab more rocks versus the skinnier tire. Another thing is, like he pointed out, is the air pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
That made a huge difference.
I'd say you were riding probably about 20 pounds. I think Matt said he put about 20 pounds in your 18 to 20 pounds of air in your tire. Now, air pressure matters quite a bit, and I would say it would probably be a totally different bike on different air pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, other than that, there was another incident where we were out Little Moab, and he comes back from riding this bike and says, basically, what? Do you remember?
I'm trying. That was recent.
Just recently, yeah, a couple weekends ago. Basically, you were saying that if you felt more confident and you were riding faster.
That's true. I do remember that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like for some reason that bike or those kinds of bikes at speed are more comfortable than something like this.
Yeah. So, on that note, we're just gonna let's cause some controversy here. Just kidding. I don't know if this will, but beginner bike. If you're riding on road or just smooth gravel roads where, like I said, we could probably take you got a Corvette? You could probably take your Corvette on that thing. Really good beginner bike. But I do feel if you're going to be doing true dual sport, well, I can't say true dual sport because I'm not a true dual sport rider.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where the majority of these dual sport riders go. But the terrain here in Utah, the mountains, the power line roads, the sand, the soft dirt, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say a dual sport motorcycle like this is probably going to be better for the beginner rider if that's where they're riding.
Yes, I think the terrain is a huge deal because if you are more of a street rider, like in town, lower than 30 miles an hour, maybe this would be better. But if you want to go faster than that,
Well, but it's not even a matter of fast or slow because I can take that bike. I'll take that bike anywhere I take this. I'll ride it just as fast. But I guess you're right. We are talking beginner. So for a beginner rider, would you or have you felt? Well, obviously you have because you're looking for another bike. Spill the beans. But obviously you're ready. And you haven't even ridden this much. You have, but not. And so already just riding these bikes, you're more comfortable on, say, a bike like this. You feel more at home, more comfortable on a bike like that.
Yeah, and we've talked about it where I feel like I can expand my skills on something like that. And you mentioned that having more skills and then coming back to something like this is a good time.
Oh, it's a good time.
See, but I'm not to that point yet.
Yeah. So watching Jake ride this versus watching him ride that, I can totally tell he's a lot more comfortable on that. So these bikes, they're fun. They're fun, and we're gonna have a lot of fun on those this year. But I do want to address the beginner bike issue on. It's true. Slow riding, cruising around town, slow speeds, beginner bike, yes. But if you want to expand and try a little bit of mountain trails, so say for a beginner or a wife wanting to go with her husband, say maybe where I would go, I would opt to get one of these, even though it's a little heavier. Maybe not this model, because this one's way heavy. But more like a dirt bike style bike. I don't know.
I think, yeah, it's really the biggest thing this has to something like that is the seat height.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Seat height is awesome on this.
Yeah.
However, I think
that's really what encourages new riders.
But I like the seat height as well. But I'll tell you what, after riding this seat height is a little bit taller. So I'm sitting about maybe 33. I didn't shave that much off. Stock's like 35. But I'm sitting about 33. So I'm about 2 inches higher. What is this? 30 point? This is 30, right? 30.
I'm not even gonna try.
30.5. Just kidding. Matt knows. But I feel like I still have an easier time getting on this just because it's skinnier. I don't know why. But anyway, on that note, this is already a long video. Oh yeah, we're pushing the 14-minute mark. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you've got this far, you probably aren't even watching this far. But if you are, let me know your thoughts. And stay tuned because I told Jake I didn't have this bike down at the sand dunes. Now, I had a ball on the TW at the sand dunes, but I would also like to take you out with this down to the sand dunes to get your feel of riding this because now he's already rode this at the sand dunes and it was his first trip out to the sand dunes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out to the sand dunes. We're gonna take both bikes and we're gonna have Jake here hop on that probably first out the gate on this bike, and then we're gonna bring him back, let him kind of hang out for a little bit, and then send him back out on this bike and see how he does on this bike. Because after your first trip, I think it's gonna be a little easier to ride this bike. But I think after riding this bike, I think you're gonna get back on this bike and find that it is a little more difficult.
In the sand.
Still fun as hell. Motorcycles in general are hard to ride in the dirt. So if you want to get better at riding, go to the sand dunes and ride in the sand. I guarantee you will be a better rider if you ride in the sand more than once. Because
It's unpredictable.
You'll become a better rider overall. But on that note, that's it. Jake here is gonna change the carburetor on this bike.
Sure am.
It's a cheap one, but we're gonna see if it works because Mr. Jake here, I forgot to turn the damn gas off in my trailer, and I leaked gas all over my trailer.
Oh no.
It was my fault. I knew. My daughter pulled it in, and I was like, I gotta remember to turn the gas off. God damn it, turn the gas off. Halfway through the trip, I was like, fuck! Because gas in the toy haulers is not good, but I don't think it stinks anymore. We cleaned it up right away. So, anyways, peace out. Go subscribe to Handbrake Jake. And stay tuned for more videos.
See ya.
We may buy this. So close. I think I should give it one more try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rest for just a sec.
Okay.